My husband posted my body online against my will, and now I'm drowning in humiliation, searching desperately for a way to make it all disappear. Posted by you/brokenhearted temp. Last Friday, I, 34F, spent my evening with Kate, obligatory fake name, a young friend, 24F, from work, as she wanted to discuss something personal with me. I didn't think anything of it since we have a very personal relationship outside of work as well. As soon as I arrived at her place, the tension in the air was thick. She explained that she wanted to discuss a serious matter with me but didn't know how to go about it. I told her to just rip the band-aid off and tell me. She told me that she had found 2 recordings of a woman she believed to be me on a pornographic website. I told her that wouldn't be possible, but she was adamant that I was the woman in the recordings. And she was right. I've never recorded myself naked or having sex with my husband, but there I was in 2 recordings, one 7 minutes long and the other 4 minutes, both filmed in our old bedroom. As I rewatched every second of it, it started to dawn on me that this was my husband's doing. But I pushed that thought deep down because there had to be a reasonable explanation for this. Honestly, I left her place with my mind in complete meltdown. I could barely hear what she was saying, but she followed up with a text saying she had contacted the website about getting the videos taken down and that she would help me through this. She also said she was scouring the internet in case there were more out there. I came home and pretty much ransacked my house looking for evidence, and I found it. My husband had been using hidden spy cameras to record me in my most intimate moments. I then spent hours vomiting, crying, projectile vomiting some more, and begging God to let this be a nightmare. I am a deeply religious and fully veiled Muslim woman, and I have never been with anyone but my husband, yet all this time, he has been sharing my most intimate moments with the world. I don't know what to think or what to do. I can't look at him or speak to him. I've locked myself in our bedroom, pretending I have COVID. All I do is research how others have managed to get things removed, and it seems that when something is on the internet, it really is forever, even if I manage to remove it from this one website. I've been crying nonstop. He truly must be something demonic, as he is now talking about ordering some of my favorite foods to see if I have an appetite since I haven't been eating well. I am so unbelievably hurt. I don't know how to share this with my family or how to ask for help. I am crippled with shame, anger, and pain. Edit. Answering some questions. 1. My husband, soon-to-be ex-husband, and I share the same religion, race, ethnicity, and nationality. 2. My culture does not participate in honor killings, and I'm not afraid of my family harming me or not siding with me. 3. My family would support me in divorcing him, in fact, they would demand that I do. 4. The laws in my country are secular, but in certain circumstances, they allow various religious groups to hold their own courts, which can enforce their rulings, as long as they don't impose on or break secular law or civil liberties. 5. I do plan on taking this to both secular and religious courts, as I want him punished. 6. I bail by choice, and the vast majority of my fellow countrywomen do not bail. 7. I am a niqabi, meaning the only part of me visible to the public is my eyes. When I am with my family or other women/in women-only spaces, I don't bail. 8. Kate and I do not share the same religion or dress alike, yet we are friends. Kel surprise. Update 17 days later. I left him as I said I would. He went to work. The movers arrived, we packed my stuff, and we left. The entire time, I was crying to the point that even the movers were worried for me, but I couldn't stop myself from crying. I went home, sat my parents and siblings down, and explained the situation. My parents were, and still are, confused. They are elderly and fragile. They don't understand the internet. They just keep saying, let's talk to the people, and it will be gone. But my siblings understand. They are angry. They are sad and heartbroken on my behalf. My siblings and brothers-in-law took me home. We waited for him, and, well, we had a conversation with him. He denied it at first. So my brothers were firm with him, and he started to be more truthful. He said he did it because he was depressed, because he had a corn addiction, a sex addiction, and because he didn't think anyone would see it. He said he posted only a few. When we asked him to be specific, he said he posted anywhere from 5 to 8. We had him take it down, but who knows how many times it has been downloaded or shared. In that moment, I also found out he had a secret phone. He was also cheating on me with random women and sex workers. All this time, I thought he was working hard, but nope, he was out disgracing himself and betraying our marriage. At some point, he convinced us he needed to use the bathroom, and he somehow managed to call his mother, who arrived at our home with his brother and cousins. There was a commotion, as they were angry at the treatment of their family member. Then things calmed down enough to explain to them what he had done. His mother fainted. She is elderly and not in the greatest health condition. We called for an ambulance. My neighbor had also called the police, and I was arrested by the time the ambulance arrived to take care of my mother-in-law. I spent the evening locked up. Didn't exactly have a polite conversation with him. So yes, I was arrested for assaulting him, specifically slapping him, and he refused to press charges. I got released the next morning and went home to my parents. Cried some more because my parents kept crying. A few days later, I spoke to some lawyers my sister had contacted, as they had experience with non-consensual material being posted online. They had been handling things with the police, as I did press charges, and they are dealing with the websites. I have also started the process of divorce. I went to the clinic and got tested, and luckily, he didn't give me anything, so far, but I have another test scheduled just to make sure. I have spoken to his mother, and she apologized to me, even though it's not her fault. She told me that she understood why I want him punished. She asked that I let it stay in the hands of the law rather than hurt him or have him hurt. He's in hiding, but he still calls and texts me from random numbers. He still lies and tries to manipulate me. I've just been documenting everything he says and texts to me. Oh, at this point, everyone knows. I mean everyone, even little kids. And I feel more humiliated now than I did at first. Relevant comments. Commenter. What did you get arrested for? Ops response. Didn't exactly have a polite conversation with him. So yes, I was arrested for assaulting him, specifically for slapping him, but he refused to press charges, and the police weren't too interested in taking things further. Commenter 2. Brushes over the assault of another person. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Sorry for op, but assault means I can't take your side anymore. Before that, I was thinking, damn, this is so terrible, I have the utmost sympathy for op/you. But then, to assault someone to the point of being arrested, sounds like a bad bunch of apples. Your ex is a piece of crap, but he isn't going to press charges for a massive mistake you clearly made. Maybe you could have been the bigger person instead of dragging yourself down like that. Sorry if I irritate you, I'm just calling it as I see it. 2 wrongs don't make a right, and that is a hugely valuable lesson to learn in life. You came here and shared the story, and since I'm here, I'm allowed to comment on it as I see fit. Ops response. No, I don't accept this. One does not get to victimize me without me retaliating in some manner. Me slapping him does not rise to the same level as what he did to me. Nor do I care about being the bigger person or the whole 2 wrongs don't make a right. I wasn't trying to be right. I don't believe in or agree with that idea. I try to meet people where they are. Of course, you are free to your judgment, your opinions, and your comments since this is a public forum. Second update 3 months later. This man has destroyed everything I have worked for and has completely shattered the little sense of stability and safety I had left. I had to resign from my job, a job that I loved. Jobs don't come easily for me because of the way I look. I can't work there anymore because I am considered a potential danger to the children and staff, as perverted men have started harassing me at work. I work with vulnerable children, and some mothers who have heard about me have started refusing to let me work with their children. Some don't want me involved with their child because their husbands can't stop being inappropriate. Fathers have leered at me or made lewd comments, and one even offered me money to sleep with him. Men have catcalled me more frequently than ever before. Men stare at me. A man followed me from my dentist's office and groped me on the street. Random men call my phone, my family home, and my office to verbally abuse me because my husband has posted my address, personal and work emails, phone numbers, workplace address, and every other bit of my personal information online. It feels as if the eyes and judgment of the entire world are on me. Yes, the vast majority of people are sympathetic, kind, and supportive. Many have reached out, from old classmates to former colleagues, neighbors, members of my religious community, family friends, his family, and many more who have expressed solidarity and kindness. But the crazies and perverts who believe him and are like him are bolder, louder, and much more noticeable. Then I found out from my lawyers and their investigators that he was drugging me and assaulting me as I slept. I suffer from migraines and insomnia and take medication for them. He saw my medication as an opportunity to drug me with my own prescriptions. He was actually bragging on a forum where other perverts congregate, boasting about how clever he was for drugging me with my own medication. They were encouraging him to do even worse things to me. My soon-to-be ex-husband has also decided to spread rumors that I was aware of the cameras and pressured him into posting online, and there are people who believe him. He also changed his mind about not pressing charges. I went to court. The judge and prosecutors were sympathetic and dismissed the case. It was a combination of my lawyers explaining the circumstances that led to me slapping him and his subsequent actions, threatening me, attacking me, doxing me, and blackmailing me by saying he didn't care about the slap and would drop everything if I forgave him. My lawyers used his own words against him, as he had written them in text messages and admitted in a recorded call that I hadn't slapped him that hard and that he'd only pressed charges to harm me. But his crimes against me are still being investigated by the prosecutors. Third update 3 months later. I wish I could say I was feeling better or doing better, but I feel awful and am still struggling with everything. It is still his life's mission to be as cruel as he can be and to stand in the way of every step I take. He is still refusing to work with my divorce lawyer, continues to be difficult every step of the way, and has run off his own lawyers. He is now in his third lawyer, and we are again starting from scratch in the divorce negotiations. He has been granted an extension by the courts due to his last lawyer dropping him just a few days before our hearing. As for posting non-consensual material, a trial date was scheduled, and he recently asked for an extension. He'll probably be granted it since his criminal lawyer dropped him too. So, in the last month, he has been dropped by both his divorce lawyer and his criminal lawyer. The man is on a roll. When it rains, it sure pours. My father passed a little over a month ago, and my mother is now in hospice care as she prepares to return to God. I'm sad but not shocked, as I've had a long time to prepare for this. My father had been battling cancer for almost 3 years, so I was as prepared as a person can be, and my mother's health had been declining significantly for years due to her dementia. My soon-to-be ex-husband decided it was a great idea to corner me at the venue where we held the after-funeral meal. He waited until I was alone and approached me as I was cleaning up. At that moment, I was exhausted and couldn't muster the rage to chase him off as I had done many times before. So, I just let him talk. He seemed almost decent as he rattled off a million excuses for why things were the way they were. He cried about how awful he feels for hurting me. Then he started telling me how he always felt I was better than him in everything, that I made more money, was better educated, had traveled more than he had, and that he felt jealous of my confidence. In the beginning, these were the things that attracted him most to me, but as our relationship and marriage progressed, they became the things he started to dislike about me. He also said he was angry that I refused to consider being a stay-at-home wife and mother, even though he knew from the beginning that I wasn't the homemaker type. He claimed he tried to be a good husband but that my refusal to bend or let him have the last say in things was a catalyst for his anger and need to humiliate me. He talked about how he had always struggled with addiction but thought marriage would cure his depression, porn, and sex addiction. He believed that if I ever found out, I would have never married him or would divorce him, and that angered him, pushing him to punish me for thinking I was better than him. He was jealous and angry about so many things. But when I said, "So you hurt me because you felt jealous and inadequate in comparison?" he lost his mind, started shouting, and said he knew I would react that way. I decided to refrain from commenting further and just let him spill his guts uninterrupted. For 3 hours, he made excuse after excuse for why he did what he did. But it all comes down to him feeling inferior to me, being jealous and angry that I dared to have a mind and life of my own. He admitted that right before our wedding, he joined an online men's group to help with his porn and sex addiction. One tip given was to make your own porn and watch that instead, but he knew I'd never agree to it. So, it was my fault he needed to spy on me. He claimed he never intended to share the recordings with others, but one day, I angered him so much that, as payback, he posted them, and it felt good. Every time I emasculated him by having my own mind or upset him in some way, he posted more. Eventually, he gained a following, with so many men asking him to post more that he started to enjoy the attention. Other men looked up to him for his sexual prowess. At the same time, his sex addiction resurfaced, and he fell back into the habit of picking up women or, when he couldn't get it for free, hiring sex workers. Then, I guess, it spiraled out of control for him. The more he spent on his addictions, the more lies he told, the more he felt like a failure for making me cover our expenses, and the more he resented me. He got stuck in a cycle of self-destruction, which only fueled his anger toward me. He also said he joined a support group for addicts and started going to an addiction rehabilitation clinic as an outpatient to deal with his issues, and that I should give him credit for that. He feels I should be proud of him for making this effort and that I should take him back since he's putting in so much work. He also believes I should appreciate that he hasn't stalked me since my dad died and that he is sincere in feeling this way. He genuinely doesn't understand why I'm not seeing how hard he's been trying these past few months. In his deluded mind, he thinks his honesty in our conversation should count for something and that I'm just a heartless beach for remaining stoic and unmoved by his tears and supposed vulnerability. Even though he gave a great performance of being human during our conversation, I remained unmoved because there was nothing to be moved by. I simply continued packing up the venue, got in my car, and went home. I'm still not working, I still have crazy men calling my phone at all hours, and I still feel humiliated and embarrassed. The only good thing that has happened is that several of the sites have taken down the recordings and banned him from using their platforms. Fourth update 4 months later. Finally, I have some good news. A while back, I was granted a restraining/protective order, but my now officially ex-husband continued to stalk and harass me. After the umpteenth time of calling the police and going to court, he was finally imprisoned, and he has been in prison for a little over a month. I was also granted my divorce. I initially wanted a quick divorce and was willing to give him everything he asked for, but he kept finding ways to delay it or demanding more and more. Eventually, I just snapped and told my lawyers to do their worst, and they did. My lawyers hated him, and I got everything I wanted and way more. Not to gloat, but it was really satisfying to see him cry. This has been the most peaceful month I've had in a long time. This entire ordeal has taken a serious toll on my mental and physical health. I've lost 12 kilograms, and I've shed a ton of hair due to the stress he caused me. But honestly, seeing him wail in court was the chicken soup my soul needed. I've moved out of my city and now live on the other side of the country. I found a decent enough job, and I am slowly rebuilding my confidence. I'm in therapy, and while I can't say it's working just yet, I know that if I stick with it, it will. The non-consensual material he posted has been removed from the more reputable websites, and my lawyers were able to get me monetary compensation, as these companies didn't want to go to court over it. Money doesn't really change things, and I'm still hurt, but it's something. I'm also not so delusional as to think that the material isn't still out there in some form, and I know there's not much I can ever do about that. I'm just trying to make peace with it. My ex-husband will be serving time in prison for what he did, and my lawyers are working with the courts to ensure that gets sorted soon enough. I think the reality of the consequences is becoming very clear to him, as I've heard through the grapevine that he attempted suicide and is now in protective custody until his trial date. He is facing up to 30 years in corporal punishment, and I absolutely look forward to it.